My name is Andrew Jacob Brown, founder of Confound Productions and producer of 6 multi-award-winning feature films. Our most important project yet is called After, an apocalyptic faith drama 8-episode series now in post-production. But we still need a lot of help if we want a series with the gospel message to reach a wide audience. Will you help us grow this channel? Let's get into the Word. What's going on, everybody? This is Andrew Jacob Brown with Confound Productions. Welcome to the After Series channel, where we talk about anything that's related to the After Series. But in this video, we're going to talk about 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 9. Perilous times. The Bible talks about perilous times in the last days, so we're going to dive into the Word and see what it says about the perilous times, and we're going to compare it to today's world. All right, a lot to say, so let's get into it. All right, so let me read to you from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 9. It says, "But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power, and from such people turn away. For of this sort are those who creep into households and make captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, as Jannes and Jambres resisted Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds, disapproved concerning the faith, but they will progress no further, for their folly will be manifest to all, as theirs also was." Okay, a lot to say. If you don't know who Jannes and Jambres are, go back and read the story in Exodus with Moses and how he led the people out of Egypt. These were two magicians that did tricks before the people, but I don't want to get into that. But in case you're asking that question, because I'm not going to have the time to explain it later. Lovers of themselves. I don't need to say this. I think the world is really self-oriented today. Social media alone, according to this list, by the way. And by the way, I get these lists, so it's not coming from just me. It's coming from what the world's saying. So self-promotion on social media, you see a lot of that. And I'm not talking about self-promotion. I'm talking about like thinking about yourself. It's all about yourself, trying to build up an image, prioritizing personal comfort over others or the environment. So lovers of themselves, selfishness, you see that everywhere. People are all about themselves. Lovers of money and greed. So, we have corporate scandals today, pyramid schemes, or scams that target vulnerable people. So that's kind of a no-brainer as well. Lovers of money and greed. Boastful, proud, conceited. Do we see boastful, proud, conceited people? This would include inflated egos in politics, influencers, or public figures. We see that boastful, proud, conceited. Abuse, brutal. The word was brutal in Timothy there. So what do we see there? Well, we see domestic abuse today. We see bullying in the workplace. Even we see betrayal for personal gain. And again, this is a small list I'm giving you. But the next word that was used was disobedient to parents and ungrateful. We see a lot of that. Entitlement culture, ignoring wise counsel, unholy / not lovers of the good. What do we see there today? Well, we see normalizing harmful behavior in media, schools, or entertainment. Without love, unforgiving. That would include people holding grudges, public shaming, refusing reconciliation. That's a sad thing. I see this, the big divide in families today. Next thing that was mentioned on that list was slanderous and spreading lies. You may have heard the phrase fake news or conspiracy theories even, or online smear campaigns. So we've seen that, spreading lies And it doesn't even have to be on the news. It could be just among people spreading lies. You ever play the telephone game? Without self-control. So this is where you kind of get into addictions. You can see overconsumption of like shopping or gambling or food or substance abuse, impulsive actions online or offline. These are things that are happening today. And that's just in the verses 2 through 4. All right, so verses 5 through 7, these are the traits that were mentioned. So having a form of godliness, but denying its power. So think about that one. These are people that like attend church or post inspirational quotes, but they're out there living selfishly and immorally. This one here makes me sad, really sad, because there will be a lot of people that when they die, they're going to face the Lord, and the Lord's going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." When they're all saying, "Hey, didn't I do all these nice, great, wonderful works and things and miracles in your name, Lord?" And he's going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Exploitative, manipulative. This one's the next one that was on that list. So you'll see, so this one can relate to like cult leaders or influencers preying on vulnerable people for money or control. Scammers targeting the elderly or naive. Yeah, that happens. I mean, I don't know how many times I get an email or a phone call, somebody trying to scam me. But we see that manipulative tone today. That's absolutely here. So the next one we see on that list was always learning but never acknowledging truth. So you'll see endless debates or reading without applying lessons. You'll see that ignoring moral or spiritual truths. That's happening. That's a no-brainer. But that's what's listed there in verses 5 through 7. On the next one, we have verses 8 through 9. And what's mentioned there, opposing the truth, depraved mind. So opposing the truth, depraved mind. So that would include like public figures rejecting scientific, moral, or biblical truth for personal gain, spreading distorted ideas. That's supposed to happen in the last days. I don't want to get into that, but I think we see that today. Short-lived influence. Now this finished off the last of that verse 9, saying basically in the word there it says it's going to be short-lived. They're not going to get away with it. So short-lived influence, exposed folly. So scandals eventually revealed false teachings, gaining attention, but ultimately debunked. So false teachings ultimately debunked. Now this is just a rough list that I wanted to have the studies explain what's happening today and how these verses can relate to today. But I bet as I read through these, you were probably coming up with your own list and adding to what I was saying here. So, by the way, if you have anything you'd like to add, please sound off in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on what you see today that relates to 2 Timothy. Because 2 Timothy is definitely a relative verse to today. I think we are in perilous times. I do believe we live in the last days. And I want to conclude with that. The last days, I believe are here. And I believe we don't know the times and seasons, according to the word, according to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, according to what Jesus says in the last days, you'll know. Like the fig tree, when you see it blossom, you'll know that summer is near. Just like you know that summer is near, you know that I am at the doors. I think we know these times and seasons are here. And so, again, I always say we should watch, wait, and be ready. But it's interesting what's going on in the world today. I did a video not too long ago on the days of Noah and how that relates to today. I see a lot of perilous times, a lot of things happening all over, whether it's just natural disasters or whatnot, but there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of chaos going around in the news, there's division, there's a spiritual battle happening, and I see the perilous times, lots of violence, but I just want to draw your attention to this. Do a deep dive yourself. Always Acts 17:11, everything I say, but this is here in 2 Timothy. I just read straight out of the scriptures and then gave you some stats that analysts came up with. So there's a lot more out there. But that's all I pretty much have to say today. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we really truly appreciate your support. Subscribe. And again, if you have some things that I didn't mention, I'd love to hear it. Please sound off in the comments. Give me some things that you think that should be on this list that you see today that's going on in perilous times. But until I see you in the next video, thank you again, and God bless you.